The first time I saw the man on the train, I was coming home from a night shift. The subway was empty except for me and a woman asleep in the corner, her head lolling against the window. The train rattled through the tunnel, lights flickering, and when we pulled into the station, the doors opened and he stepped on. Tall, thin, wearing a long coat, the color of wet concrete. His face was pale, his eyes dark, and he was carrying a violin case. He sat across from me, placed the case on his lap, and smiled. Not a friendly smile. The smile of someone who knows something you don't. I looked away. I stared at the ads above the windows, the graffiti on the walls, the sleepers in the corners. When I looked back, he was gone. The train was empty. The doors were closed. I told myself he'd gotten off at the last stop. I didn't remember a last stop. I didn't remember any stops after he sat down. The next night, same shift, same train, same empty car. The doors opened, he stepped on. Same coat, same violin case, same smile. He sat across from me. He didn't speak. He just looked at me with those dark eyes, and I felt something I'd never felt before. A pressure in my chest, a warmth behind my eyes, a certainty that I had seen him before, somewhere, somewhen. In a dream I'd forgotten, I asked, "Do I know you?" He tilted his head. His smile widened. "You've been trying to remember me for a very long time. Every night when you close your eyes, you reach for my face, but you always wake up before you find it. Tonight, you won't wake up." The train went dark. The lights flickered and died. The emergency lights didn't come on. The train kept moving, but the sound changed. The rattle of the wheels became softer, more distant, like we were traveling through something other than a tunnel. I couldn't see my hands. I couldn't see the seat. I couldn't see the man, but I could hear him, opening the violin case, lifting the instrument, placing it under his chin, drawing the bow across the strings. The music was not music. It was a frequency, a vibration, a language that bypassed my ears and went straight to my bones. I felt it in my teeth, in my spine, in the roots of my hair. And as I listened, I remembered I was 5 years old. I was in a hospital, not a normal hospital. The walls were bare concrete, the lights were dim, and the air smelled like bleach and something else, something sweet. I was sitting on a bed, wearing a white gown, and my mother was not there. A man in a long coat was standing in the doorway. He was holding a violin. He was playing the same song. "You're a very sick little girl," he said. "Your parents brought you here because they couldn't help you, but I can help you. I can take you to a place where you'll never be sick again. A place where you'll never grow old. A place where you'll sleep and dream and never wake up." He held out his hand. I took it. He led me down the hallway, past doors that opened onto rooms with more children in white gowns, more beds, more darkness. He led me to a door at the end of the hall, a small door painted white, with a brass knob. He opened it. On the other side was not a room. It was a train platform, dark, empty, with a single bench and a single track. And on the track, a train. The same train I was on now. "Step aboard," he said. "The ride is long, but you won't feel it. You'll sleep. And when you wake up, you'll be home." I stepped aboard. The doors closed. The train pulled away. I didn't wake up for 30 years. The music stopped. The lights came back on. The train was slowing. The man was gone. The violin case was on the seat across from me. I opened it. Inside was not a violin. Inside was a photograph. A little girl, 5 years old, wearing a white gown. Her eyes were closed. Her mouth was open. She was sleeping. She was me. On the back of the photograph, written in ink that seemed wet, "You were supposed to sleep forever, but you woke up. You opened your eyes. You walked off the train. You forgot. But I didn't forget. I've been looking for you for 30 years, and now I've found you. Tonight you'll come back. You'll finish the ride. You'll sleep and never wake up." The train stopped. The doors opened. The platform was not my platform. It was the hospital. The same bare concrete, the same dim lights, the same smell of bleach and sweetness. I stepped off. The doors closed behind me. The train pulled away. I was alone in the hallway. I walked to the door at the end, the small white door with the brass knob. It was open. I stepped through. I was 5 years old again. I was lying on a bed in a white gown, in a room with other children, all of them sleeping. The man was there, standing in the corner, holding his violin. He smiled. "Welcome home," he said. "We've been waiting for you." The train comes every night. It takes children away from their parents, away from their pain, away from their lives. But sometimes a child wakes up. Sometimes a child opens her eyes and walks off the train. Those children are the hardest to find. They grow up. They change. They forget. But I never forget. I find them. I bring them back. And they never leave again. He raised his violin. He began to play. The music filled the room, soft and sweet, like a lullaby. The other children stirred. Their eyes opened. They sat up in their beds. They were not children anymore. They were adults, my age, older. Some of them had gray hair. Some of them had wrinkles. But they all wore the same white gowns. And they all looked at me with the same dark eyes. "We've been here for a long time," one of them said. "Some of us for decades. We sleep. We dream. We wait for new children to join us. But you're special. You left, you lived, you grew up. You forgot. And now you're back. You're the only one who ever left. You're the only one who ever came back." I tried to run. There was no door. The walls were smooth, seamless, with no handle, no knob, no crack. I was trapped. The man played on. The music grew louder. My eyes grew heavy. I felt myself sinking into the bed, into the gown, into the darkness. I fought it. I bit my tongue. I dug my nails into my palms. I screamed. The music faltered. The man stopped playing. He looked at me with surprise. "You're still awake," he said. "No one stays awake. No one." He raised the violin again. I lunged at him. I grabbed the instrument and smashed it against the wall. The wood splintered. The strings snapped. The man screamed, not in pain but in rage. His face changed. His skin cracked. His eyes bled black. He was not a man. He was something else. Something that had been wearing a man's face for a very long time. "You've broken it," he said. "You've broken the music. Now I can't play. Now I can't put you to sleep. Now you have to stay awake forever. In this room. With me. With the others. Awake and aware and never, ever forgetting." He laughed. It was the sound of the violin breaking. It was the sound of the train leaving the station. It was the sound of a door closing that would never open again. I've been here for a week. Or a month or a year. I can't tell. There's no sun, no clock, no change. The others sleep. They dream. They whisper in their sleep, calling out for parents who are long dead, for children they never had, for lives they can't remember. I stay awake. I walk the room. I count the walls. I talk to myself. I write this story on the walls with my own blood because there's nothing else to write with, nothing else to write on. The man sits in the corner. He doesn't move. He doesn't speak. He just watches me with his black eyes, waiting for me to close mine. He knows I can't stay awake forever. He knows sleep will come. It always comes. And when it does, he'll be there, with a new violin, with a new song. And this time, I won't wake up. I'm writing this because I need someone to know. Not because I think it will help, but because if I don't tell the story, I'll forget that I was once awake. I'll forget that I had a life. I'll forget that I had a name. My name is Sarah. I was 32 years old. I worked in a library. I had a cat named Jasper. I liked coffee and rain and the smell of old books. I was happy, and then I took the train. If you ever see a man in a long coat carrying a violin case, don't get on the train. Don't look at his eyes. Don't listen to his music. Run, run, and don't look back, because he's been looking for you. He's been looking for everyone, and once he finds you, he never lets you go. I can feel myself getting tired. My eyes are heavy. The man is smiling. He has a new violin. He's tuning it. The strings are humming. I'm going to sleep now. If you hear music in your dreams, don't follow it. Don't look for the source. Don't open your eyes. Because he's there. He's always there. And he's playing your song.